We got a police officer that did what?
Wisconsin, where trial kicked off this week for defendant William Zelenski. He's charged with killing his girlfriend's son while confronting him for stealing expensive reptiles.
Jury find the defendant, William C. Zelenski, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
During court this week, the jury saw Ring doorbell footage of the confrontation between the victim, the defendant, and Powell. Here's what it captured right before the fatal shot.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome to Visible Truth Media. I'm your host, 30 God. And today we have this episode. You heard it, man. You heard it right. You heard it right, man. It's about an officer that killed his girlfriend's son over some stolen exotic animals. And he is claiming self-defense. We're going to jump straight into it. I'm not going to waste too much more of your time, but you know how I do. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and share it because it really helps us out, man. Let's get it.
Several friends and family members of Riley Menente Powell spent the last several days hoping justice would be served. Zelenski, who was dating Menente Powell's mother, Tiffany Powell, shot and killed the victim after he stole $27,000 worth of exotic pets.
Now, the trial took a week, okay? It was a week-long trial. It was real emotional. It was traumatic because everybody had to relive this whole situation, but it was final. This officer right here, his name is William Zelenski. He was found guilty of murder, even though he claimed self-defense. Now, if you ask me, I don't think it was a self-defense situation. I really think it was about an officer who thought he could finesse this whole situation after he straight up murdered this man. Now, what happened was, it was an 18-year-old named Ryan Menente Powell. I might have got his middle name mixed up, but Ryan Powell was an 18-year-old. He had a son. He was a young father, young man. Allegedly, he stole his mom's boyfriend's and belongings. I guess you know what I'm saying. That's how this is. That's pretty much what they're saying. He was allegedly stealing from this man. He stole his animals, and I think it was some guns too, or whatever. I don't know.
Zelenski had guns, alcohol, and more than $25,000 worth of reptiles stolen from his property. Those reptiles included a $17,000 lizard, a $7,000 python, along with a crocodile and boa constrictor. Zelenski was reportedly given a tip pointing to his girlfriend's 18-year-old son, Riley Menente Powell, as well as 20-year-old Ashton Toady as the suspects. The defendant called 911 and told police that he confronted Menente Powell and shot him after an alleged attack.
Either way, it doesn't matter what this young man allegedly stole. He was murdered. It doesn't make the situation right, okay?
I know that Riley's soul was finally resting in heaven, and we can finally get peace, and my son will forever know that his dad wasn't the bad man that Bill Zelenski made him out to be. He was a very good father, a very good friend, and a very good family member.
The verdict was also a win for the team of prosecutors, led by Waupaca County Assistant District Attorney Veronica Isherwood.
I think that was the correct verdict. Anything else would just send the wrong message to the public that you can attack an unarmed kid and shoot them and then come up with an excuse afterward and it would be okay.
Now, this story, it takes a quick little evil turn because the victim's mom was also sentenced for this murder because what ended up happening, they actually both approached this young man, and if you ask me, she was an accomplice to the murder.
Zelenski's girlfriend, Tiffany Powell, was with Zelensky during the confrontation. Doorbell video footage reportedly shows Powell pointing a gun at her own son and then returning it to Zelensky before the fatal shot was fired. Powell pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless endangerment and felony firearms possession. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Crucial witness here is going to be the victim's mother, the defendant's girlfriend, who took the defendant's side in all this until now. Now she's sitting in a prison cell, cut a deal with prosecutors. She's going to testify, I assume on behalf of the prosecution, to say that no, this was not self-defense, that Riley, her son, was not grabbing at the gun. So that would undermine not just self-defense, but also accidents. So if her testimony is compelling, then it's a good day for the prosecutor.
Side of you away from Bill.
Yeah,
And so you're facing Riley at that point.
yeah,
And at that point is when Riley went at Bill,
yes,
and then the gun went off.
yes,
So when Riley went at Bill from that position, you had to turn around and look.
yeah,
And the way you were facing would have been facing towards Tara's house.
yeah.
The whole situation was caught on a Ring camera, I guess from one of the neighbors. Okay, so I can't really play the actual shooting, but I can show you guys what happened before and after. Here it is. Now from the video, you can hear someone saying, fight like a man, and then someone ends up dead. Okay, so they approached this young man, and I believe when he was shot, it was like right under his arm, like or under his shoulder. I don't know which shoulder it was, or part of his chest it was, but he was killed, and his mom was there. After this young man was killed, his mom hops in the car, and they both drive off. It's a fucked up situation, man. But anyway, I'm not gonna get too much into that detail. She was sentenced. He was found guilty. He faces a mandatory life sentence, but I don't know if they're going to try to give him parole after a certain amount of time. He is a police officer, so we know how that goes. But justice was served in this situation. I'm sending nothing but positive energy to the young man that was killed right here, man, and to his family. Y'all keep y'all heads up, man. And is this situation avoidable? I don't think so. I don't think it's an avoidable situation because at the end of the day, he did, allegedly steal some belongings from this man, but it doesn't make the situation right. It's a messed up situation no matter how you're looking at it, man. But sending nothing but positive energy. You guys let me know in the comments how you feel about this situation, man. Until next time, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, man. Peace.